Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know, this is my firearms interest channel, but take a look at this. That is a drip pan that I've had to put under my 2005 300C, 205,000 miles. Recently, maybe 6 or 8 months ago, had some overheating issues. What it turned out to be initially was the radiator on this car is largely plastic. It's aluminum elements and then plastic top and bottom. One of those had cracked. I was all set to be angry that Chrysler would have the balls to use a plastic radiator in my car, but then I realized it went 190,000 miles on it, which is longer than I've had any other radiator, including expensive all brass ones. So replace the radiator, upper and lower hose, and at the time I did that, I realized that the water pump had begun spitting, and it is now moved to crisis levels. I'm running a gallon of coolant a week extra, and it overheated again on the way home last night. I'm not letting it run hot, but the gauge spikes and the heater will have no effect. I'm not even blowing hot air. So today what we've got is, instead of any firearm issue, brand new Mopar water pump from the dealer. I've got a pan to catch coolant. I've got some distilled water, and the small yellow bottle is a flush. And then I've got a special Xerox, that's called a HOAT, H-O-A-T coolant. Because of the aluminum heads and other parts, Chrysler recommends that. It's some kind of organic something. It's a special kind of coolant, and you're not supposed to mix it with any other kind. So I'm going to go ahead and perform a flush after I get the water pump done. So let's see what we've got. Hi, I forgot to mention I'm going to run a new Serpentine Belt, keep the old one as a spare, and I picked up a Serpentine Belt or a tensioner tool from Harbor Freight. It's basically a 3/8 inch socket with a long handle on it to give you extra leverage. So on the 300C, at least on mine, the water pump is right here. It's difficult to see where it's spitting from, but you can see with a light that the water pump itself is discolored, and there's coolant all down in front there, and it drips out the extreme front of the engine. I know it's not the radiator because I just replaced that. So what we're going to do is pull the air intake, which should give us plenty of room here. The manual says to pull the electric fan. I may or may not do that because I don't want to expose the radiator. It gives me a little extra room, but it leaves the radiator exposed to possible damage. So I'm going to turn this off. I will try to remember to film the relevant portions, but what I'm going to do is this bolt, there is a worm drive here, or a worm screw clamp, and I will pull this off, which will expose the water pump. One thing you'll notice is there's an idler pulley, and the tension pulley itself that I mentioned the tool is for are not present on the replacement water pump, so I'm just gonna have to swap those over. I've already checked the torque specs. I'm gonna put a new thermostat. It goes right here, and it's actually a self-gasketed. It's got a circumferential gasket around the outside as opposed to the old paper 2-hole gaskets. And then the back, it's just got a press gasket here. So anyway, I will be back. First step is to drain the radiator. There is a petcock underneath on the left side as you face the car. And since it's a brand new radiator, my guess is it's actually going to be there and workable. But I'll have to find it. So I'm going to shut off. Okay, sorry about the sound. I'm going with the internal microphone for this. I've got the airbox removed. I've taken the engine cover off. That's just a plastic piece. So here's your air intake. It went here. I disconnected this harness, and this vacuum tube. You can see the serpentine belt here. This is the water pump. Here's the back of the radiator, and there's a radiator drain way down here. Trying to get my hand on the petcock, which will be fun. More later. For the brief update, I did indeed pull the electric fan off the back of the radiator to give me extra room. I pulled the petcock completely off. It's a little bit messy, but I caught almost everything in these two pans. I'm going to take that back to the recycle center. Airbox is off. This is the water pump. My next step will be to remove this upper radiator hose. The thermostat's in there. Actually, I'm gonna pull the serpentine belt first. Then I'm gonna pull this. Then I'll pull the water pump, and I'll replace the pulleys. I'll keep you updated. Thanks. We're back under the hood of the 05 Chrysler. I'm going to pull the serpentine belt. This is a tool I got from Harbor Freight. It's essentially a 3/8 inch ratchet head on a long handle. If you look right here, there's a 3/8 inch indent. Manual says you go counterclockwise. Takes the pressure off. You pull it off the idler pulley, which is one of the ones we're going to replace. Get it off. Then you gently release pressure on this, very gently. This is, I think it's cast aluminum, whatever it is. This will crack if you're not careful. So there's the serpentine belt off. Looks pretty good, but since I have it off, I'm going to go ahead and replace it. I'm going to save that. There's the new one. So the tension's off. Now what we need to do is remove this upper radiator hose. The thermostat's in there, and then the water pump itself. So let's get cracking. I'm not going to film this part. By the way, I've never done this before, ever. So I am learning as we go. That's a 1/2 inch, which is what I was told to expect. I'm going to get a deeper one. Half. Let's do a quick update. I've got the upper radiator hose pulled, 2 bolts. That's the old thermostat. I'm going to leave it in because it's attached to the water pump. I've started taking the bolts out. I take one bolt out, I put it in the corresponding hole in the new one because the bolts are several different lengths. So that's where we stand right now. More later. Okay, back from an unscheduled Home Depot run. The pulley that goes here is a T50 Torx. No one mentioned that in any of the instructions. This is the old one, obviously the new one. I have to remove this pulley. Let's look at the back. It's got an integral gasket. I set it on the floor and got it a little dirty, but it's a little chewed up. The impeller looks like it's in good shape, but I think it's leaking anyway. There's also a press fitting right here. This thing, I loosened the bolt and just popped it right out. It's got a little O-ring. I'll clean that up. I will clean the mating surface, make sure that we look nice and clean, and then I will get in here with some rags, clean up the fluid, and then button it up, and we're theoretically done. You can see the pans under there. Again, I caught most of it. The fluid looks really clean, which is not surprising to me because I'm going through about a gallon a week, so it's essentially flushing itself out every week. But more in a little bit. Again, now I'm going to clean the mating surface I'm going to install the thermostat into the new water pump. I'm going to remove the idler pulley from the old water pump, and then I'm going to put it back on, and we'll see how we go. The order on some of these might change. I was going to put the tension pulley on, but it was very difficult to get off. In fact, the reason it's off now is I couldn't reach the bolts. So I'll probably put it on, then put the pulleys on. More later. Here for me again. Guess what? The new water pump is lightly bolted into place. I'm starting to snug down the bolts. I'm going to go star pattern since there's a gasket in there. I'm going to go star pattern just like you're torquing a wheel. And then these get torqued to 20. This one gets torqued to 20, and the pulleys get torqued to 40. Luckily, I already have a torque wrench, so it's coming along. More later. See you soon. Okay, well, going for a test drive. I've got it all back together. Everything is back in the car, or on the car, except for the engine cover, the decorative engine cover that says Hemi on it. Everything else is back in place. It's been idling for 20 minutes in the driveway, and we're looking at 210 degrees. Not sure what to make of that. It's a new thermostat, so I'm not positive that that's exactly the same temperature as it usually ran before. I know I have a digital readout that I can select, and normally before I had any issues with the cooling, 203 degrees was where it ran, you know, barring extended time at a stoplight or a hard pull or something like that. It's sitting at 210, 209 right now, but again, I'm running it with distilled water as opposed to any kind of glycol or coolant, so I'm not sure what to make of that. Temperature gauge is pegged just below the middle. Those things don't really mean much. With the digital gauge, around 200, 210 is the middle, but up when it's at 230, it'll be up in the red and in the high. So they don't really mean much. I've heard that the manufacturers intentionally weight those gauges so that they'll be in the middle most of the time, because they don't want me comparing notes with my buddy and one of us taking their car to the dealer because the gauges read differently. You know, the car's 11 years old. 203 is fine because it's been running at 203 its whole life. I don't know if you can see it. I've got a gallon of distilled water here just in case. We're sitting at 212 and a slight downhill, 210, 50 miles an hour here. That's the speed limit. I've got my foot off the gas. I've got the air conditioner on because I want to simulate normal driving conditions, but I will tell you that as I'm in this purging of the air from the upper engine and the heater, I'm alternating. I've actually turned the heater up all the way. I've turned the air conditioner off to get the compressor off. What I want is nice hot air here, not warm, not sort of warm. I want hot air, and I am getting almost uncomfortably like hair dryer hot air within a couple inches. It's my belief that this car, it has two climate controls, and I think there are two heater cores, because sometimes the driver's side will blow hot and the other one will blow lukewarm when I'm having cooling issues. So I'm reading 204 now in the engine, and it's probably 100 plus, 120 degree heat coming out here. I mean, that's uncomfortable to keep my hand in front of it. So I'm going to switch it back to air conditioning just so I don't blow myself out. Okay, real quick. There she is, back from the test drive. The overflow cap is not too hot. The upper radiator hose is very hot. Had no overheating issues. Mostly 208 to 210. Again, my normal's 203. I think that's close enough. But I wanted to take a quick look at the old. This is the old water pump, and you can see in here in the pulley holes, it was weeping there. You can see underneath, that's the bottom. You can see there is coolant there splashing, so I think that's where it was leaking. If you look at the back, the impeller looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look bad. The gasket's a little bit chewed up in a couple places. That could just be age. So that is a new water pump, new thermostat, and a Chrysler 300C 5.7 Hemi. Again, I do not intend for this to be instructional other than to watch my misadventures. I am not a mechanic. I barely know what I'm doing. I located the torque values and the order of work online. I don't vouch for it. You assume all liability and responsibility if you follow my lead. But my baby's back. I'm going to check underneath her in the morning, see if she's leaking at all, and run it for a couple days with the water, drain it again, and then run it with the HOAT, H-O-A-T antifreeze, and that's 150,000 mile antifreeze. I love this car, but that puts us at 350. That's probably going to be time for a new car. This is me signing off. I'll talk to you about guns next time, I hope.